Yo, what's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction, and this is Black Clover Chapter 273 leaks, yo. So, with the leaks that are out, this chapter is supposedly called Fateful Day. And let me tell you, this is a fateful chapter because everything that's going on here is dropping some major bombshells. So, if you remember on Black Clover Chapter 272, you had Asta struggling with his devil union with him and Libe, and we got a cliffhanger of that potential new transformation. And so now here we are, and we also got to see Yuno and Langris, which is very interesting because if you are watching the anime currently, we just got as far as some interesting points as far as with Langris here. So what's cool is I like the way that they're setting it up, because even at the, and I'll explain it within the chapter as far as the leaks, but even at the end of the anime, as far as this recent episode, you had this moment with with Seki, Mr. Buha guy. So there's a lot of things that are going on in this chapter. So before we get into it, make sure if you like this content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment, because that lets me know that y'all enjoy it, and also it helps me get noticed within this weird YouTube algorithm that's going on here. I've heard a lot of y'all's input, so if you're listening to this and you notice something a little bit different, it's because one of the suggestions was leveling out the volume, either having my voice up more or the beat down lower. So just little changes like that make a big difference. So let's go ahead and dive into this Black Clover Chapter 273 leak. So this chapter, we'll go through what it is that we see, and then we'll go through what the fan translation of it is. And we may be able to do it at the same time, but so it starts off, boom, we finally find out what happened with the Dark Triad, at least with Zenon and Dante in particular, because he took that L. So we get, we'll do the fan translation as it goes on. So apparently this chapter is supposed to be 15 pages. Zenon arrives to see Dante, and so we see the Spade Kingdom, we see Zenon coming into this lab, and we see a couple of people that are chilling out there. And so the interesting thing is we get Morris. I don't know if you remember him, but he was the shadow leader of the Diamond Kingdom. And so he's treating Dante, and Dante, kind of has this sinister look, and he's just like, I want to rematch that little boy. We're assuming Asta. So there actually may be a Diamond and Spade Kingdom alliance, which is very interesting because we kind of seen that little, that possibility going on with the fact that the Diamond Kingdom had already tried to attack the Clover Kingdom. And when we first kind of get introduced to Zenon, he laid waste to a whole freaking Diamond Kingdom military. They were laid out. So the other thing that we see is that there's a giant devil that's revealed, and it seems to be sealed up for now. But the one thing that I noticed with this devil is it looks like when the same way Lick looked when he turned into the devil. Literally, it looks like that same devil is within as far as this encasing. And this may be the same encasing that we seen as far as earlier chapters when Dante was talking and was in front of as far as a large crystal. Now, my theories as far as this is, well, like I said, it literally looks like the same. So I don't know if they all look like that when they get that big, but this demon does look huge, because from the point that they show as far as the face and then the like far away view of it, the far away view of it is only got like maybe mid torso up, and it still looks huge as fuck. So that's something to take into consideration. Then we have Yami and William. Like, we get like a piece of, you know, Yami's scruff, and like they only show as far as his bottom half. His mouth looks open. I don't think that they're, gravely injured or anything like that as of yet. But we see them in the World Tree Magic. Well, I'm not sure, but it looks like as far as the rings that we seen Asta in, when Nacht brought him down to that training, we see those rings, and we see 2 coffins. We see as far as all this tree magic that's going on. So, of course, we can only assume. Then we get back to Asta's training, and Asta is seen releasing a lot of anti-magic with a little tease of the new form. And from what it is that I see on here, it looks the same, but it also looks like this could be like the after effects. This could be like him winding down, because then we see Nacht with this smile and sweat on his face, and we see Asta and Liebe looking beat up and separate. So we get basically this dialogue, Nacht and Asta having a serious talk, and Nacht is apparently on the fan translation and tells Asta that he went through a lot of suffering, but in the end he was right. And he also stated that right people don't get rewarded, but Nacht says, I want the right people to live. The vast majority have the truth. It is not always the case that a good person is rewarded. Even though I fought hard back then, I lost. And it looks like Asta is staying behind to fully control his new form, and Nacht's gonna leave Gemodello behind to help Asta. He goes on to say that Nacht goes on to say that they'll do as much as they can until he shows up. And then the uniform, the Spade Kingdom invasion uniform, is revealed, and you have the invasion team consisting of Real, Charlotte, Seki. And this is why I was saying that, it's funny that in the anime, Seki was brought to a more prominent position. And then you have Jack, Nozel, Fergolion, Langris, and this is why it's also super interesting, because again we're getting some more Langris and we got introduced to it last chapter, chapter 272, but we also got a little bit of it as far as within the anime itself. And so this chapter marks the beginning of volume 28, and man, like, looking at the leaks here, so that conversation as far as between Nacht and Asta, you see as far as Nacht having that ability to kind of give, it's like a Yami tough love, and I feel like there's moments that we're seeing where Nacht can be, empathetic, because we see Nacht put his hand on Asta's shoulder, and I think this is where Asta is all like, all right, let's get it going, but even within that, Nacht also like very firmly expresses, the seriousness of everything. He does, when he wants to make a point, he will change as far as his demeanor. And so the interesting thing about, Nox Devil Gomodello is he kind of looks kind of like shocked, like, what, you want me to, stay here? But the panel where we see, Langris, Fergolion, Nozel, Jack, and Seki in the back, and he's like sweating. We get Real, we get Dorothy, and we get Charlotte. And these uniforms look so freaking dope. As a matter of fact, they look like Nox uniform. And it's really interesting that we have, as far as Nacht and this Germany, reference, and then we kind of get these clothes. And what's interesting, that he chose that particular mythology to go to, because when you think about Germany, you think about the Holocaust, and when I think about, as far as the direction that this particular arc is going, I don't know, we might see some more stuff in regards to that, but I'm trying to correlate a couple of things. All I know is that I'm super hyped. I'm curious to see at what point Asta, comes into battle, because I feel like with him leaving Gomodello there, he will be able to just, take Asta wherever the battle is going on. So at what point, that's what I'm curious about. At what point, is, Asta gonna come in? And also, what are the other points of reference when it comes to this attack? Because they're ready to go. They're about to head out. So this is as far as the team, I think, that they're taking at the as far as Nox taking in, sneaking in, as far as with that. I'm not sure where the Heart Kingdom and the Elves are going to play in. So we got them. So we got the Clover Kingdom, boom. We have a potential alliance between the Diamond Kingdom, which I'm not sure how many people are left and how much of a issue that's going to be, and not only that, are we going to see, as far as what's his face with the Diamond and Ice, his name slips my name right now, what side is he going to be on? Because he even though Asta was able to whoop him up, and they was able to, defeat him when they were at their basic, weakness, but he was still a strong opponent, and he can only have gotten strong from then, I can assume, but I'm curious to see if he's gonna pop up at any point. What else? I'm curious to see Asta's actual, that new transformation, because that new transformation has to be powerful for him to have beat Nacht, like legit. And we don't even know the full details, but I feel like there's going to be a flashback, and I like the way that the manga is leaving room for the anime to fill in these. Like, it doesn't feel too rushed. I actually like the pacing of this, because at first it was just all like, it's kind of like this cut, switch, but I feel like we're gonna get a little bit of the Heart Kingdom and the Elves, and then maybe like a little bit more of we might get some more dialogue as far as between the Diamond and the Spade Kingdom, and them possibly being aware that they're on the way. I don't know in what particular way that they might know, but I feel like they might get, tipped off to them potentially coming, so we'll see. But, like they said that they have a time limit, and in the last chapter, Nacht already told Asta that it had been, 2 days already. and they only had 3 days. So it's gonna be cool to see the way that, like, this is the start of a whole new volume. So we're about to get into some interesting things, and I always like to pay attention to what's going on astrologically, because a lot of times this is going to have some sort of influence. I've just seen it happen way too many times, like with what's going on in the story. We see how the excuse me, we see how the Magna is kind of correlating even with the seasons. It's wintertime right now. Look at as far as what they're about to go into and just the feel of that particular time, of winter, of, this high states that are, on the line, like all of these different things, so those are the things that I pay attention to. Not only that, we're currently in Sagittarius season, and then we're going to have as far as Capricorn season as well, which in tarot, the Capricorn symbol is the devil. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of the climax and stuff at the end of Capricorn season, so like mid-January. I mean, of course it'll be like pushed out, but major themes. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so we might see a lot of Fergolion, maybe Marcia, and even Magna, because here's the thing, what they did within the anime, if you didn't see it, go check it out, spoiler. But Magna, remember several chapters ago when Luck was learning as far as the rune magic and everything like that, and there was that little point in time where Magna couldn't do it and he walked away on his own, and there was that little dialogue that was going on. We now find out within this previous anime episode that originally Magna wasn't chosen to get as one of the people to get trained in the Heart Kingdom, but he like pleaded with Yami to let him go. So we see as far as that, we do not know as of yet, even in the Magna, what was the result of Magna going off on his own, because I personally don't even think that it is fair that Luck is at all these power-ups, he's got rune magic, he has the traces as far as from his elf magic, and plus on that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Luck was a noble as well, so he's tricked the F out when it comes to level up. Magna really, he's had moments, but we haven't really seen like super level ups, and my only question is, why hasn't Magna like trained with with Fergolion in them? Like, is it just like a whole royalty ego thing? I don't know, but I feel like it set it up for that to happen, because if Luck is a noble, then they're really good friends, so, and plus plus the Black Bulls is a mixture of royals, nobles, and peasants, so it's just like they've already have that mixture. So I'm just curious to see like what Magna's training is going to be, and I feel like they didn't just sprinkle that in there for no reason. Same thing like when it comes to Real and Charmy. Like, I feel like there's certain things that maybe it's just doing for filler and anything like that, but honestly, if we look at everything since the beginning of the series, anime, and when it comes to the Magna, I don't think that anything was done random. You can piece together connections like with everything to where it makes sense, and where the big reveal would come later on. Like, there's predominant characters that I feel like realistically, going into their origins themselves can be a whole arc. I feel like if Yami survives, things like that, I feel like there's going to be a period of time where maybe he needs to go to his homeland, for something. I don't know if it may be as far as between him and, Charlotte, and maybe in order for him to fully get married, he has to get like the blessings or what you would call it. But, this may lead to a whole new arc of beings and different things like that. We don't know, we could dive into as far as Charmy's origin, and find out as far as half-breed and her being, she didn't even know she was half dwarf, but she going through that would be really dope. Going through Grays, there's still a lot like, around Gray that we don't, know about. I feel like that in itself could be so, he can extend it, to where every little piece would make, certain sense. So who knows? But I'm excited. This chapter it's like, I don't know, blue balls pretty much, because it's just all like, yo, what is about to go down? Because this is going to be fire. So another thing to take into consideration, we haven't seen Vanica and Loro Pachica. So we've seen William and Yami. We've seen Dante and Zenon. We still haven't seen Loro Pachica and Vanica. So interesting things going there. What is y'all's thoughts on this chapter, on the leaks? Have y'all seen it? What are y'all thinking is about to go down? But yeah, it is Thanksgiving, so this is Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Peace.